Hi everybody. We heard that Grammy Snoops makes this awesome spaghetti at Christmas time. So we're going to come around and snoop while she's not home and see if we can find the ingredients and what the special ingredient is to make that spaghetti. So, shh, come on, let's go snoop at Grammy Snoops. Alright, I am going to make a family tradition spaghetti. We call it pop spaghetti. This recipe came over from Germany from my great-grandfather, and it's been a tradition every year. And people say it's odd to have spaghetti at Christmas, but this is special. It's made with ginger snap cookies and a nice New York roast. And the apron that I'm wearing is the one that my mother always wore making this. So when I make this spaghetti, it comes with the apron along with all the love to put this together. Alright, now I'm going to get ready to assemble this, and it's really not hard. But when you're making this, you have to use the right ingredients from the right brands. I've made it with store-bought ginger snaps and the store brand whole tomatoes and tomato paste, and it does not taste the same. So when you make this, make sure you have Nabisco ginger snaps and then the Hunt's tomato paste as well as the Hunt's whole tomatoes. And the cheese you have to get at a specialty cheese shop, and I can't pronounce the name, but there you go. It's extra sharp well-aged sheep's milk cheese, and it comes from Italy. So if you have a cheese shop, this is what you need to go. Porcerino Romano Laterale. And okay. Alright, so let's get busy with it. First thing you got to do is take a bud of garlic, cut it in little thin slices, and you have to stuff the meat with it. And just goes a little bit here, a little bit there. Gives it a little bit of flavor. So this could be passed down to everybody. And it's simple to make. It just seems like it's hard, but it's not. First time I did this, I was petrified doing it, but now it's just like, it's making like any other spaghetti. And only the family members have this recipe. My mother and grandparents never gave it out to anybody but family. And even some of the family members don't have it. Alright, next thing you got to do is once you stuff it with the garlic, you got to sear it in 2 tablespoons of shortening. Shortening doesn't matter what brand of shortening you use. Alright, now that the shortening is melted, you put this in and let it sear, and leave the strap on the meat. And just sear all the sides. Alright, I'm going to take the meat, put it in this pot. Pour in the meat juice. Alright, then you add water. And some vinegar. And this is going to simmer for about 2 to 3 hours. And then when that's done, I take the meat out, and of course then I add the other ingredients, the ginger snaps and the cheese and the tomato seed. So we're going to do this. And this vinegar goes right on top of the meat. And I'm doubling the recipe because I've got multiple people that like to take the sauce home. All right, so that's it for right now until we get ready to make the rest of the sauce. It's going to simmer for 2 to 3 hours. And then we'll come back and we'll add all the other ingredients to it. All right, now that the meat has cooked for the time that it's supposed to, you're going to take the meat out. You're going to let it rest while you add the stuff to make the sauce. Leave all your juices in here. That's part of the yumminess. Okay. All right. So now, easy part 2. As you add the tomato paste. Sample it. And then you have to have 3 cans of water. Okay. Alrighty, and the whole tomatoes. I generally pour in the juice first because I don't like the tomatoes whole, and I squish them with my hands. My hands have been washed. I don't mind little chunks of tomatoes, but I don't like these big old chunky things. And if you have one of those, like a blender that you can put in here, that will break up your tomatoes too. If you like playing with food, this is the fun part. Oops. All right, and then take your ginger snaps, break them up, and once this starts to cook, you've got to stir it about every 15 minutes because of the sugar from the cookie will burn at the bottom of the pot. So this is when that old saying, watch your pot. Well, you gotta watch your pot. And that is pretty much it, except for adding some salt and pepper. And stirring these puppies down. And the cookies do melt down, they'll get soft, and it's easy to smush. And then it's always best the next day for some reason. So I'm making this a day ahead of time for our Christmas Eve dinner. Ooh. And my friends, that is the pop spaghetti. Now this will cook and we'll stir it so it doesn't burn. And then we'll mix it all with the meat and the spaghetti noodles later. Well, now that we've had the sauce sit overnight, and that's where all the real true flavor comes in, and that's always best the next day. Right now I've got the meat in the sauce warming up, and I've started the water to cook the spaghetti noodles. And once that's done, then we will pour some of the sauce after we drain the noodles. Put the sauce on the noodles and stir it up, and voila, trim the meat and then we're in for a real good treat. Well, you know, guys, we snooped, we went through cupboards, couldn't find that special ingredient. So we're just going to have to catch Grandma Snoops next year and see if we can find out really what goes in that spaghetti that makes it so darn good. Well, until then, hasta la vista, babies, and we're out.